Hello, YouTube! It is Mr. Zero's Telluride. I am Mr. Zero, an out-of-work actor, an unpublished writer, a clown without a good venue, except for YouTube, and a comic and commentator on things silly, scary, and stupid. I know what you're thinking. You think I have the sun. Actually, there. Some of the more religious of you might even think that's heaven. I assure you it is not. There's a new light bulb I bought for this lamp, and figured I can now use this lamp, and it's one of those light bulbs that uses less energy, but it has mercury in it, but it lasts for 10 years, so I don't have to throw it away for 10 years. And so in 10 years, maybe they'll figure out a good way to dispose of mercury so that I don't feel bad about having a mercury light bulb. They say dispose accordingly. In 10 years, am I going to remember to dispose this thing properly? I don't know. I like to play with my suspenders. I happened to notice on my last video I said I look like Uncle Fester, and I still say I do. But I also think I look a fair bit like Paulo Fratellini. Fratellini, I think, of the brothers Fratellini. That's Francois, Paulo, and Alberto. And Paulo and Alberto changed their names to Paul and Albert, or they were known as Paul and Albert here in the States. Um, but Francois never went by the name Frank. But they're three clowns. Francois was the white face. Paul was an Auguste, although here in America we call them what he was, a Contra Auguste. He's the Larry of the trio. He's like, ranks higher than Curly, but he's underneath Mo. And then Alberto, was the Auguste. According to the movie Clowns by Federico Fellini, they call it Grotesque Auguste. That he's an English style, or an American style Auguste, which means broad features, whereas the other Auguste, they were silly little anarchists that were always one-upping the clowns, and the clowns were authoritative, and the white-faced clowns were, you do what I say. And the Auguste would sit there, I show you how silly you are! Ha ha! And were considered funnier and much more beloved than the white faces, which is true to this day. There aren't a lot of traditional white faces in clowning. There are plenty of Auguste style and others. What people would call character, but that's really I just consider them. You go to Europe, they'll say, that's an Auguste. It's not a white face, it's an Auguste. There's two kinds. Out here, we have 4 kinds. Kind of. I've spent too much time talking about it anyway. It's been a week. Today is the 30th, and I haven't talked about my last experiences at the haunted house at Nightmare on 13th. And so I got a vlog about that. So let's see. The first days I was the chainsaw clown and the body bag zombie. And because of doing body bag zombie, I got sick. And apparently this is a common reaction to being in that room for all extended periods of time, is you're going to get a cold. So I did. So that's why I'm sick now. That's why my voice sounds all gritty. And I sound like this. Yes. So Chainsaw Clowns, just so you know, has been taken out. They're not clowns anymore. They're chainsaw zombies. Apparently people were complaining there weren't enough zombies this year. And I guess zombies are everywhere. So our haunted house is reflecting that. And they have a whole section that's about zombies. They took out the chainsaw zombie clowns and replaced them with just chainsaw zombies. Whatever. But I don't get to ever do that again. So I'm kind of proud that I got to be a chainsaw clown the first night. Something I'll take to my grave. And hopefully I'll never have to be a chainsaw zombie, because I just don't like zombies as much as other people do. That's okay. If they ask me to, I'll do it. I'll do anything. I told them after working body bag and making it through, I know I'm tough enough to do whatever they say. Which brings me up to what I was the second night. So they're doing the weekend stuff in September is really just an experimental phase for them to try different ideas to make things work. And I was what was called chain victim. Chain victim is a character that's in this hallway that's slanted. And the slanted is not being explained in this, but it's slanted. It made sense last year for what's going on, and so you kind of have to explain why the floor slanted. Now, demons have taken over, and they're warping the world. And this was expressed in Chain Victim by the fact that I wore this mask that has been called Hugo, probably in like the kind of hunchback. I don't really know why he's called Hugo, but he's also like every time someone wears this mask, the Goonies sloth lines come out full draw. I don't know Goonies that well. I wasn't raised on that movie. I've only seen it once in my life, so I don't know all the lines. All I know pretty much is sloth love chunk. Hey you guys! That's all the sloth I know. But this is a silicone mask, and it's very uncomfortable. It's very real. It's very lifelike. It sticks right to your face. It even has lips that go on your lips. But the problem with this mask is you sweat profusely in it. The two ears that go over your ears, they start becoming puddles of sweat, and you can just feel them in there. And you're trying to, but it goes completely covers your head, covers your neck, and then goes down on your chest a little bit, so that it looks like it's your actual head. But it's very uncomfortable, and you sweat all over, and the sweat, because of the way the lips are, tends to go into your mouth. And I fought against that the whole time, just pulling out those lips and very uncomfortable. Another ridiculous thing about this was in the upper levels of Nightmare on 13th. Nightmare on 13th is in a warehouse with no air conditioning. They have this fan beaming down on me to try to keep me cool, but it's not keeping my brain cold. My body's getting cold from all the sweat, but my brain is overheating. It's the most uncomfortable I had ever been in a haunted house. What's more is this mask has like this eye that's been put out, this droopy, goopy looking eye that covers your real eye so you can't see out of it. Now I'm chained up in this hallway, and the customers are coming from this way, and this is the eye that's blinded out. So I can't see the customers coming. So I kind of have to look, and since it's a silicone mask, you can't really move your neck right. It was just terrible the whole night. But, but the chain effect is very effective. I don't know if I should explain this to you, but what it is it allows you to seem like you're chained up, but then you get to pop out at people, and the chains are loud and scary, and people just jump back scared. Unfortunately, though, after my night of doing it, I turned in the mask, and they saw how uncomfortable and unhappy I was. And they asked me how it was wearing the mask. I says, it's like an oven on your brain that makes you sweat. And they said, well, we're not using that mask for that part anymore. So as far as I know, that mask is being retired for this year. They're not going to have it. And that's fine. I never wanted to wear the mask last year when they had it. And I only had to wear it the one time. So fortunately, that's it for me on that. I'll do Chain Victim again as uncomfortable. I got like sores on my wrist from doing it that are just beginning to go away. But I got to scare a lot of people in very effective ways. Now, the other room that I did is called Laser Tunnel. This is part of also the demon thing. The effect is it's a completely darkened, blacked out hallway. There's very little light, and only the people that work there can really tell where the light is because they've been in the room long enough that their eyes have adjusted to it. You come in from a room that's blacklit. It has black light effects all over, and there's spider webs everywhere, so you can see the spider webs very well because they're white. You go into this room, and it's completely dark to you, except for a laser at the end of this hallway that is circular. It's a circular laser beaming down, and it spreads out wide, and we fill this room with artificial smoke. So the effect you get is when you're standing in the perimeter of this laser, it looks like some sort of weird vortex nexus kind of thing, a spinning little ooh. And what's really cool is when you're wearing a hooded cloak, you can poke your head through that as like all of a sudden this person appears in this void. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a demon, and that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be demons. So we're talking in gibberish. We're yelling, "Hurikita Shikar!" And Kisakiba! And we're yelling at them, and we have little like gloved hands with large claws sticking through, reaching at them, and we're popping in, and it's pretty effective. But I got a bug bite on me, so I'm scratching this a lot. Sorry, folks. But bad news for yours truly here, and one of the other people in the room. There were 3 people in the room that night, all being scary little demons, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to scare people all throughout the hallway. It's about probably like a good 20 feet long. And when I get towards the end, I'll just sit at the end and they can barely see me while I'm pointing at them with the glove and just and I'm pointing at them and laughing, and then I'll talk, which a lot of people, why is he clicking at me? Oh my gosh, why is he clicking? And the rest of them started doing it too. They start clicking and going, making kissy sounds at people as they walk past. And people get creeped out by that. It was very effective, and I thought of it. But I'm sitting there and I'm laughing and pointing and, acting kind of like, especially at the girls. I'm sitting there pointing and laughing even harder at the girls and going, ah, ah. So what do I get for all this trouble creeping out all these girls? Well, what you would expect. One girl looks me right in the face and full on, like, this isn't one of those like I spooked her. She went, ah. No, she looked me right in the face and went right on my head, right open hand right here on my face, and it hurt me. It didn't hurt, but it made me very angry, and it took all my willpower not to do something bad to her. Come to find out, she went and smacked another one, the other guy that was in the room there, and right in the face, gave him a bloody nose. Don't do that, people. Why are you paying $20 to go around hitting people? Look, it's our job to make you uncomfortable, make you feel scared, or make you laugh. That's what we get paid, the small amount that we get paid to do. If, like, you go to a haunted house, most people are volunteers. I just happen to be fortunate to work at one that pays their volunteers. We're paid volunteers. And we don't get paid a sum that is like, ooh, it's compensation for us coming out and doing a good job. And so I get slapped full on in the face. He got smacked in the nose, and he had incited a stampede on himself. The poor dude, he got trampled, and it wasn't one of those like, it was a complete accidental thing. They were trampling over each other. He had popped out at just the wrong time and scared the crap out of 2 people. Those 2 people didn't know how to react, and they fell over him and started a whole stampede with their whole group. Well, the one guy that was in the front, he's scooting on his butt to get out of that room as fast as he can. And I completely lost sight of my comrade. I came back in, and he's on the floor holding his head and stamping on the ground. I picked him up, and he was okay, but he was pretty like angry about that. I'm like, dude, it really wasn't something they purposely did. It's just like a bad timing type thing, and you fell down. And I tried to grab you, but I lost track of you in the darkness. But all in all, it was an okay night. It wasn't a bad room to be in. I think it was fun. It's just, it's the only time that I've been in there that I've actually been slapped. I have been hit at, I've had stuff thrown at me, people freaking out. I've been accidentally hit by people like, oh, sorry, dude, didn't know you were there, type stuff. But no, this is the first time, full on, she just, right on my face. And I had to fight not to punch her, I tell you. So anyone going out, watching this and going out to a haunted house, please don't hit the actors. Unless they hit you first. But if they hit you first, just go find a security guard and report it. Say, this guy in this room attacked me and made me like blah, blah, blah. There's no reason to resort to physical violence in one of those places. It can start a whole chain of bad things. And communication. And I'll be back sometime to talk about my future adventures that start tonight at 7. See ya!